Yes, hello once again, all you savvy perfume parlour ladies out there, and welcome back to Mags Frags. Today I've got another 7 belting copycat perfumes for you. Some are brand new releases and others are based on either discontinued or more classic perfumes that you might not have had the chance to try out for yourself just yet. And whilst I've got you, if you are new to the channel and this is your first time that you've stumbled across it, then don't forget to like and subscribe if you find today's episode to be of any use to you. It really helps me out and it just gets the videos pushed out to more people, so it's much appreciated if you can just click on that little red subscribe button. Also, don't forget that the Perfume Parlour have very kindly supplied me with my own unique discount code, so if you want 10% off any order site-wide all year round, then don't forget to use code PAUL10 at the checkout. Okay, so let's get straight into it, and today's first one is called Elegant Bloom, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 0397. This is a copy of Creed Carmina, which is the latest release by Creed and only at the stores at the back end of 2023, so a very quick turnaround by the Perfume Parlour with this one. It's a floral woody musk with top notes of black cherry, saffron and pink pepper. In the heart we've got May Rose, Peony, Violet and Cashmere Wood, and in the base we've got musk, ambroxan, myrrh and frankincense. Yes, so this, as well as the original version, starts out with like a medicinal cherry scented cough syrup like aroma, and it reminded me straight away of another fragrance that I already own, which is Mancera's Wild Cherry. It's a bright and airy take on the cherry note and nowhere near as syrupy sweet as what you get with the likes of like Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. In fact, if you don't know that it contained the cherry note before you sprayed it, you might miss it altogether, but it's definitely there when you're aware of it. But as it dries down, it becomes slightly more dominated by the floral heart notes, which produce a velvety, delicate and feminine scent, which is sweetened up ever so slightly by the ambery base notes. In the far dry down after a couple of hours, the fruity sweetness just seems to reappear, but it's like a candied, sugary, hard-boiled fruit sweet type smell. It's a very classy smelling perfume for the first hour or so, and I think this has more of a mature, formal scent profile, so it would be a perfect work or office scent. But as it develops, it definitely becomes a bit more sweet and fruity. It's certainly not overly sweet or juvenile though, and it's one that I think you could wear all year round and just for basically any situation. Like I say, it does have enough fruitiness, but obviously it is a copy of a Creed fragrance, so it's not going to be as mass appealing and as playful as some of the designer brands. It will be slightly more challenging for some of you out there, but I think it smells really great. The performance is decent enough without being overpowering, and it projects well enough for the people around you to notice it, but it's not what I would call a room filler. It lasts all day though, and you'll still be able to detect it 7 or 8 hours after you've first sprayed it. The original is going to set you back a whopping £260 for a 75ml size bottle, whereas this 30ml EDP version from the Perfume Parlour is going to cost you just £14, whilst the higher concentration extract spray in this is just £20. Okay, so next up is a copy of another brand new release, and this one is called Rosy Cafe for women, and the Perfume Parlour code on this is 2047. Yes, so you might have already guessed that this is a copy of the new Cafe Rose, which is the latest 2023 addition to the Tom Ford Signature Collection, but it was originally part of the Private Blend collection when it was first launched back in 2012. But there's just a few minor tweaks over the original version. The top notes in this are Turkish rose and coffee. In the mid we've got Bulgarian rose, cardamom, patchouli, ylang ylang and coriander. And the base notes in this are frankincense and sandalwood. Okay, so this is a strange one because it lists 2 different rose notes in the note breakdown, and it also contains rose in the name, but yeah, I don't find it to be overly rosy smelling whatsoever. Which is good for me because I'm not the biggest fan of the rose note in fragrances anyway. In fact, if I smelled this blind, I honestly don't think I'd be able to guess a single note that's inside it. It opens up quite spicy, and the cardamom and the coriander are going to grab your attention first, followed by kind of a clean soapy floral accord, which is perhaps a blend of the roses and also the ylang ylang. The coffee is barely noticeable, and I certainly don't get any kind of coffee aroma from either the original or this Perfume Parlour version. You will get a very mild earthy patchouli which stays in the background, but you may pick up on it a little odd waft of it from time to time. It's like a bit earthy and a bit green. It's smooth and well blended with a delicate musky floral and feminine character, but it's not one that I would describe as sexy or something with much of a wow factor. For me, this is more of a daily driver or one to wear after you've had a long hot bath and you're just settling down for the evening, because it's quite a calm and comforting aroma. It also has a fairly soft, intimate projection, so again, would probably work well as a work scent, or maybe if you're heading out to a restaurant for a meal or something chilled of that nature. But it's not one that I'd see working well for a night out situation, and it won't command much attention. I actually really like how this smells. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever, but it's just a little bit nondescript and nothing really jumps out about it. It's just a simple, clean, soapy smell that doesn't really change or develop that much over time. But if you are on the lookout for a really nice, unassuming perfume that's not loud and in your face, then this is definitely a good one to try out for yourself. Right, so next up we have one that goes by the name of Dylan Ocean, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 0567. This is a copy of Versace Dylan Turquoise, which is a bright citrusy floral fragrance from 2020. Top notes in this are lemon, mandarin orange and pink pepper. In the mid we've got guava, freesia, cassis and jasmine, and the base notes are clear wood, musk and cedar. Yeah, so this one's a really fresh, sparkling summer scent with a super refreshing and energising opening. The zesty citrus notes bring an aquatic, watery feeling. It's like someone spraying you with cold water on a scorching hot day. It's a very uplifting and cheerful introduction that won't fail to make you think of the summertime. As it dries down, you get some mild florals and some even milder woods, but this is all about the freshness, and it's a straight up shower gel-like aroma, and it's perfect for a day at the beach or to wear as a gym perfume when you want a really nice effervescent splash of the ocean. There's absolutely nothing challenging or complex in this one whatsoever, and it's a straight up mass appealing explosion of freshness, and it lasts for about an hour or so, and then it becomes more of a soft fruity floral for the remainder of its lifespan, which is about, I would say, 5 to 6 hours before you'll stop detecting it. It's a super clean, extremely easy to wear and lovely daily driver, and it's a really good one to wear in the high heat, so pick this one up now and it'll be macerated just in time for the spring and summer. Okay, so the fourth one that I'm going to talk about today goes by the name of Puppa for women, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 0676. This one's a copy of Musk Butterfly by Kilian, and the top notes in this are geranium, aldehydes, Turkish rose and damask rose. In the mid we've got violet leaf and violet, and the base notes in this are sandalwood and ambrette or musk mallow. Okay, so Musk Butterfly is an absolutely delightful feminine springtime fragrance based on the opera Madame Butterfly. It opens up with Turkish rose and damask rose, geranium and aldehydes, which creates a rich floral introduction. But again, I don't know if I'm becoming a bit anosmic to the rose accord, because this again isn't too rose dominant. And for me, this starts out really bright and refreshing with like a sunny day quality about it. As it transitions through into the heart of the perfume, we've got violet leaves from Morocco, which just intensify the floral theme and just adds a certain greenness and a slightly powdery dimension to the scent. The base of the perfume is where the true complexity and the warmth start to come to the forefront, and we've got ambrette and also sandalwood, and these are the key players in the dry down. Ambrette, known for its musky and slightly sweet qualities, adds just a layer of sophistication and depth. And in contrast, the sandalwood provides a creamy, woody backdrop, just grounding the fragrance and giving it like a lingering presence. I absolutely love this one, and in my opinion, this oozes class and elegance. It's feminine without being too overly floral or girly, and it's also sophisticated, and you just know instantly that you're experiencing an expensive perfume when you smell this one. This Perfume Parlour copy is extremely accurate to the original. It's one of the stronger performers in today's haul, lasting all day with a nice moderate projection. This is one to definitely stick on your next Perfume Parlour order if you're in your late 20s and older, but it may be just a little bit too challenging for younger women out there. Okay, so next up is one that goes by the name of Dream Weaver for women, and the Perfume Parlour code on this is 0567. This is a copy of Louis Vuitton's Attrape Reeves, which is probably not anywhere near how you pronounce it, and the Yorkshire accent doesn't really lend itself too well to these fancy French words, so apologies if I've just butchered the name. But anyway, it's an amber floral perfume from 2018, which is definitely a feminine perfume rather than being unisex like so many other Louis Vuitton fragrances. So this is a rich, sweet and slightly complex perfume with many contradicting accords, starting with some exotic fruitiness up top from the lychee note. We've also got some tart, zesty bergamot in there, and also a sprinkling of spicy ginger. So the initial introduction is really bright, fresh and uplifting. But it's not long before the sparkle fizzles out and the sweetness from the heart note starts to come through from like the Turkish rose and the peony flower, but mainly from the cacao, which is a mouth-wateringly sweet dark chocolate accord that works perfectly with the velvety smooth florals and the fruitier top notes. This all sits on a base of earthy patchouli, and you end up with a scent with plenty going on, and that I think most of you will really enjoy. I personally think it smells absolutely great, but the original does come in for a little bit of criticism online for smelling a bit too generic and a bit too much like a shower gel, which I thought was a little bit unfair at first. But when I thought about it, it does perhaps lack any sort of iconic characteristic where you'd instantly recognise it if you smelled it in the air. So maybe it's not something I'd recommend that any of you just rush out and pay £255 a bottle for. But this Perfume Parlour version is a totally different story. And at £14 for this 30ml EDP, I couldn't recommend it anymore. I find it to be a lovely versatile scent that's more of an everyday spray and go type perfume rather than a sexy night out scent. And the other day I let two female family members sample all of these actually, and both had this one in their top two favourites. The performance is decent, but nothing special. You get a moderate projection that lasts 5 to 6 hours, I would say, but it's not a room filler or overpowering in any way. Also, it's still got time to macerate, so it might improve over time. But yeah, definitely one that I would highly recommend that you try out for yourself, and it'll be ready just in time for springtime. Okay, so just two more to go now, and this next one is called Good Inspiration, and the Perfume Parlour code on this one is 1406. This is a copy of the very popular but now sadly discontinued Angel Muse EDP by Thierry Mugler. The top notes in this are pink pepper and grapefruit. In the mid we've got rose, whipped cream and hazelnut chocolate spread, and the base notes are patchouli and vetiver. So this is a rich, warm and indulgent gourmand fragrance with a creamy, chocolatey, Nutella-like accord at its heart. But it actually opens up quite tart and citrusy with grapefruit and pink pepper, just blending with the patchouli and the vetiver for the first couple of hours. And it's more like a bright herbal tea kind of smell rather than a sweet gourmand at first. And you won't actually get much of that delicious hazelnut cacao spread accord come through until it gets well into the dry down. But it definitely does develop and it comes through eventually. Mugler fragrances from this kind of era, including the men's Amen range, all featured a prominent patchouli note. So they tend to have this earthy, grungy base layer. So if there's something in the background of this that you find slightly off-putting, it'll definitely be the patchouli, because it is certainly an acquired taste. The original Angel Muse was an extremely popular perfume and loved by many women, so I can't understand why they chose to discontinue it, but this Perfume Parlour version is spot on and is sure to bring back a strong reminder of what you got with the original. This does seem to go off sale quite a bit though, so you're going to have to be quick if you want to get your hands on a bottle from the Perfume Parlour. The performance is really good on this with a very strong projection for a couple of hours, but by the time that smooth hazelnut and cacao combo comes through, it's more of a mild, intimate projection that just sticks around for several hours before you stop detecting it. This is an absolute must-own in my opinion, so if you're one of the very few women out there that hasn't tried this at some point, then definitely stick it on your next order and tell me what you think of it down in the comments. And the final one today is a little bit of a wildcard entry because I've never actually smelled the original, and this was a total blind buy. This is called Francis Explorer for women, and the Perfume Parlour code on this is 0312. This is a copy of Mousse de Cartier, which came out all the way back in 1981. And like most fragrances from this period, it contains over 25 different notes, so it's pretty difficult to isolate any individual ones. But the standout ones for me are the leather, the neroli, and also the civet in the base. It's a vintage fragrance that from the first minute that you spray it, you'll realise that it's vintage, and it's unapologetically old-fashioned, which is going to remind you of the inside of your mum's leather handbag when you were a kid. It starts out bright and clean with an explosion of soapy white floral notes and citruses, but very quickly the leather makes itself known, along with that musky animalic civet note that's also quite prominent in the men's Koros fragrance by YSL, and I almost instantly made the connection between the two. And I think it's this extremely pungent note that many 1980s fragrances included, and it just gave them almost like a unique date stamp. It's impossible to smell this scent if you're of a certain age and just not be transported back in time. It's an extremely powerful and potent scent that lasts all day until you basically scrub it off, and it would be an absolute perfect scent to complement a vintage look. So if you're a bit of a hipster and you're into your vintage clobber, then this is an absolute masterpiece for you to check out. I think it smells great, a brilliant quirky option if you're looking for something different to what you've got currently sat in your collection. However, for many of you, I would guess that it might just be a step too far and might be just a little bit too old-fashioned smelling. Okay, so in summary, I've got to say that this is a great little haul today, and I'm really impressed by all of them for different reasons. But I always give you my top 3 standout ones, and for me, out of these 7, I would probably go for the Creed Carmina copy, the Kilian Musk Butterfly copy, and also the Louis Vuitton Attrap Reeves copy. They're the safest and most mass appealing in my opinion, but like I say, there isn't a bad one amongst these today, and you can pick up all 7 of these for like £88 if you use my discount code, so you've then got a different fragrance experience every day for less than the price of just one high street designer perfume, which I think is pretty good. But anyway, once again, that's all we've got time for today, but I will keep the content coming for you ladies out there, but don't forget to also check out my men's videos, because I often include some great unisex ones that you may really enjoy and you might just be missing out on. So until next time, thank you for watching today, stay safe, keep smelling fresh, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Bye bye for now.